Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thank you for joining me again today. I've been noticing lately, we hear all the time, and I've heard several videos on this about emotional eating. We hear people talking about their issues with social eating, going out to eat when they go out to dinner with friends or family, or, like parties. How do you handle yourself when you go to a party? How do you handle cravings? Just all these different words and vocabulary around food, and it just got me to thinking that maybe we need to understand food a little bit better and just simply change our mindset on it and what food was originally intended to be used for and what we should be using food for, in my opinion. I've had this discussion with a few friends of mine, and I wanted to think a little bit before I did this video because I don't think I conveyed the message very well when I spoke with the last person, because they thought I was talking about something to where like I was trying to get away from even caring anything about taste or caring anything about the enjoyment of food. Now, yes, I firmly believe that food has one or two purposes, main purposes, and the number one purpose is for fuel, or to sustain our body, and number two, which is very close, I'm not even sure they're separate, as medicine, to keep us healthy, to keep our body functioning at the top shape it's supposed to be. Think about your car. I mean, I don't know, most people, even if you're not a car fanatic, you won't think about putting something of lesser quality in your car for any reason, really. If the mechanic says this is how you need to be doing, or you need to change your oil this often, or you need to use this grade of oil or this grade of gas or this product, most people do it religiously. Why would we treat our body any differently? Now, I've told you, it's in my quest, that's kind of what I'm moving towards. It's just, I want the food out of the way very soon. I'm 2 years raw vegan, and I don't want to linger on the food thing and be, a good friend of mine, Tanny Raw, mentioned the other day, I don't want to be thinking about food all my waking hours. It's kind of like I want to get this, I want to get my way of eating, my way of living under control so I can move on to other things. I have other interests. Now, I will always continue to share, but I'm talking about my personal experience of changing and putting food in my body and constantly thinking about what I'm going to eat next, or constantly thinking about food in my day-to-day life. But maybe it is just as simple as, I'll talk a lot about here, and I don't get me wrong, I'm not fooling myself. I'm not some kind of psychology expert by any means. But I do believe there's little games and little things we can do in our mind that helps us to adjust our behavior to where we want it to be in different aspects of our life. And I think it's very true with food. And I think we just need to, emotional eating. Okay, what does emotional eating really mean? I mean, I hear about it all the time, but what does it really mean? Do you actually get some sort of a comfort, like say you've had some sort of, you come home crying or you come home really upset? Does that food really take that inner angst, that inner pain, that inner trouble away? Or does it just add to it? Because then you eat something and you're like, okay, well, this is a comfort food, but in the end, what most people do is they end up feeling guilty. So that actually backfires on them. Same thing for any kind of eating, really. I'm going to pretty much keep this one short and just keep it across the board. I know, as I've mentioned before, I'm not the most social person in the world. And when I say that, don't get me wrong, I'm not an introvert. I enjoy being around people. I just, not having a family and not having a ton of close friends. Most of my friends are families, and they have their own thing going. So I don't have the social pressures on me, but that's just something you're going to have to get over if you want to follow a healthy lifestyle. To what extent you're going to follow that healthy lifestyle, only you can answer that. But you're just going to have to find tricks and ways to deal with it. If you're going to be a social person, and if you're going to go to, dinners with people, if you're going to go to party or social situations where food and alcohol are being served, you're going to have to learn your own tricks that work for you. In the social situations, I have to say, even when I ate whatever, before this lifestyle, when I would go to a social function, I was always a little bit more focused on the social part of it. In fact, a lot of times when I would go somewhere, even if there was a ton of good food, I would end up just picking. Food was never a big part of that for me. I went for the socialization because, I eat all the time, and to me that socialization was something that I didn't get, so I tended to walk around and talk, and at the time I was tipping the bottle a good bit, so I always had a drink in my hand, but I wasn't eating a lot of food. Now, people come up with all these elaborate, I see people and I admire that, making a lot of plans. Everywhere you go, they've got these little plastic, whatever they are, Tupperwares and the bags and this and that. And man, I'm envious, you got all this nice little meal laid out for yourself. I'm a guy, I'm lazy. If I've got some event and I know, like if we're going to a restaurant and I don't think there's anything, there's not that big of a deal. What I'll probably do is just to go and be with people, is I will eat something before I go. I don't know how it is where you are, but most places I go, if you're with the group, they're not fanatic in the restaurant that every person in the group eats something off the menu. I go to lunch, a good buddy of mine who I enjoy discussing various things with, whether they're politics, business, whatever. We go to lunch about 3 or 4 times a month, and most of the time I just get a club soda. But I've done that even in more social situations also, just eat, I eat my dinner before I go out, and, have a club soda or a bottled water when I go out. Or if I know they have something, most places that you go for a salad don't have our kind of salads, they don't fill you up. So if I know they do have a decent salad on there, I'll probably eat a little something before I go out, and then I'll get a salad and a club soda. But you get what I'm talking about. But once you really have to do, let's get back to the general overall concept, idea that I want to convey in this video, is we have to change our thinking. You have to stop thinking of this stuff that we're putting into our body is so much for this comfort, pleasure, anything other than fuel, anything other than contributing to the health of our body. In the beginning, all I can say, now it's coming more and more natural to me. It's not even, it doesn't take any effort really now. Like I say, I'm still trying to just find my way on, what's going to be the optimal for me. I have very little trouble with urges or anything like that, and my urges tend to be, like I say, I've gotten to a point where my urges are a lot cleaner than what I'm hearing most people talk about. If I have an urge and I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't eat that, my urge is probably going to be to eat. I don't eat nuts regularly. Like last Sunday, I ate too many nuts. Not too many. I didn't have a bad stomach ache or I didn't have anything, but with this low-fat thing, I just that was my splurge day. But that was my splurge day, nuts. Since I've been back in Costa Rica, I don't even do the cooked thing in Costa Rica anymore. Or I haven't in some time. I tell you, it's probably been, I was in the States for a couple of weeks and ate cooked food, but it's probably been 5 or 6 months since I've had any cooked food here. So yeah, I'm just getting more and more where it is just becoming that fuel. Now for me, it's just about finding that perfectly right combination that keeps the machine going the most efficiently. But you've got to find those little tricks for yourself. You've got to learn. So I hope you enjoy some of these little psychological tricks I'm sharing with you, but I'm not necessarily saying the ones that work for me. I've got a different mind. You've got a different mind. Everybody's got a different mind. So you might have to kind of play around in your head and think a little bit and come up with tricks for yourself. But tricks that are gonna, until this lifestyle settles for you and until you're really strong in it, you use these little tricks to minimize the slip-ups, to minimize eating bad stuff, and to keep yourself going and moving forward. In the end though, we really need to get back to what food is for. Anyhow, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and share this with somebody, because this might help somebody else out there. I mean, you know, especially the people that are trying to lose weight. They seem sometimes to be a little bit more desperate than the rest, because, and I understand, you know, you see that in the mirror, and part of society, you know, society looks at the body appearance in a different way. So it's a little bit more urgent for them, but still, the right plan in the end will get you there quicker. Peace.